that photograph in every session where you go, I've got it, I've done it. That the subject looks amazing. All of the other elements have come together. It's better than chocolate, honestly. It's that. Yeah, it's all of those things. It's, I love my job moment, if you will. And then when you actually, you pull out that shot at, your reveal session and you get this, and you get the reaction that you're hoping for. It's all of that. It's really that, it's a high. It really is. But at the other end of it, it's to give people the images of themselves that will last forever.
Welcome to the Simple Marketing Solutions podcast, the ultimate destination for small service-based business owners looking for help and inspiration with their digital marketing efforts. Our podcast is tailored to provide actionable solutions and ideas for simplifying and automating the marketing process. Whether you're a business owner looking to streamline your marketing strategies or in need of inspiration to take your business to the next level, we've got you covered. Join us as we explore the latest trends and techniques in digital marketing and share tips and tricks to help you grow your business. So tune in and get ready to elevate your marketing game with our process-driven, automation-focused and simplified business model approach. Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing the esteemed and very prestigious multi-award winning photographer, Alice Olivia. And she is super talented, as I told you. She has won so many awards and it's just amazing to be around and has such a wealth of information and knowledge when it comes to photography and branding. Alice is a photographer with a diverse portfolio that includes pet, portraits, business branding, and fine art portraiture. She has a passion for capturing the unique spirit and essence of each subject she photographs, whether it's a furry companion, a corporate client, or a personal masterpiece. Alice's keen eye for detail, commitment to customer satisfaction, and her use of light and composition result in beautiful and timeless images that stand the test of time. Trust me, I know Alice really well. I've had photos done with her, and I totally trust her when it comes to personal branding, your business branding, those corporate photos that you need for your business, as well as the pet photos. You need to check out her social media pages or her website. The links are in the show notes, so head there after the episode and stay tuned for some really useful, practical information when it comes to your branding and the importance of understanding how photos and the right photos can make the difference of making or breaking your business. So stay tuned for Alice. Hello, Alice. Welcome to the podcast. Today, truly, I'm so excited about today's episode because photography is something that I love. I just dabble in it. But when it comes to branding and business, I know that it's a whole other skill set. And you are the go-to woman when it comes to that. So I'm excited.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
My pleasure. Alice, just so everybody can hear from yourself, would you like to just share a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Well, I am a photographer, have been since 1989, among other hats I've worn along the years. But at the moment, we're doing lots of things like headshots, personal branding for business, things like that, as well as, your normal portraits and pets and all the fun things. But yeah, no, it's pretty much been my whole life. So it's nice to kind of talk to someone who appreciates it about as much as I do. So thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Look, I know that photography is generally something that a lot of us as business owners shy away from, because we're scared to get in front of the camera. We don't want people to see us. We just want to keep in the background and keep doing what we do, what we love. But, I know that it's so important. I see it with my clients when I'm designing websites for clients, the quality of the photo to convey the message that you want to your audience is so vital to get right from the beginning. And,
100%.
yeah, can you just elaborate and share a bit more about why you as a photographer think it's important and how it can impact your brand?
Well, for me, everybody is not alone in the feeling. I hate being in front of the camera. I hate it. I'm absolutely like on board with. I've spent my life behind a camera for a reason, and you feel when you're part of you're setting up a business, and you one of the last things you want to do is put your face out there, and which is why it actually makes it really, really important to have a good portrait out there, a good headshot, something that's quality and classic and done by a professional, because we see so many people, we shy away from the whole experience of getting in front of the camera. And then it's that, oh my God, I'll just take a selfie and I'll throw that out there moment, which is a complete disaster, let's face it. And, and everybody knows it. And we're sort of cringing in the background going, oh, well, at least I've got something up there. And in most cases, done is better than perfect, but maybe not with the headshot. Maybe not, people. Yeah, I had three goes at mine and was absolute horror client for that. But I got to where I was in the end. It took me a while to communicate where I was at, how I saw myself.
And that's it. I think you've just hit the nail on the head when it comes to communication, because that is such a big part of it, is the ability for you to communicate clearly what it is you're after, that messaging and your personal brand that you're trying to build and convey to the world and to your audience.
Sure.
Having that communication with the photographer that you choose is so vitally important.
Absolutely.
How do you go about ensuring that you choose the right photographer for you? What are some of the things that we should know when we're out there sourcing a photographer?
It's like anybody you do business with. They've got to be a good fit. For me, I spend a lot of time, on how my business looks and the look and the feel and the vibe, if you will, that goes across with everything else that I do. So, it's taking that as a package and then going to a photographer and going, this is me, do you get me? And then, sometimes it's not a words thing. I used to use, especially with wedding clients, bring me a lot of photos of the things that you've seen that you like, because that can convey to me in word better than words, what you're after. So with one of my clients, they went, here, go and have a look at this person's website. I like how this feels for this person, and but can we make my version of this, if you will? So sometimes it's you've got to put the two together. What you've built already as a brand, down to your fonts and your colours and your logo and everything else, and then kind of channel that towards what kind of photography will fit in with how I look. And this is pretty much the way I approached it for my business, but it's also how I've done it with a few other people as well, and it seems to work. But yeah, it translates for me across all of the genres of photography that I do, if you will. Obviously, coming up with some gems that are completely original that happen within a shoot are fantastic, but a good plan to start with, going, okay, we're going to take you through this process in these sorts of positions, backgrounds, activities. If it comes to personal branding for business, having that plan is good, and then the little gems that come across in between time are just that, they're just gems.
So, again, I think that when you talk about having a plan and that process and having that conversation, that open conversation from your side as the photographer with the client, so that helps to just break those barriers of nervousness and anxiety around the photo shoot.
Okay.
As a client, are there things that can help us to get into the right headspace and to just to feel more comfortable with the whole process?
It's really about trust and relationships there. Like
Yeah.
once you get to that point where you know that the person holding the camera gets where you want to go and what you want to do, then you can pretty much sort of, I call it being a passenger. Like, that you put yourself in the professional's hands, and then you just let them drive the bus, if you will. But if you're in that space where you are doubting whether they get you,
Mm,
it'll be written all over your face in every photo, unfortunately.
mm,
So it's that headspace, as you were just saying, where
yeah.
you've got to really have that trust and follow the direction the photographer is providing you at the time in the shoot, so that way, you're giving back what you're actually, wanting to receive at the other end, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Because if you're
Yeah.
sitting there and you're thinking, this guy doesn't get me,
Yeah.
you'll look like it, unfortunately. And then it's one of those things where, and I've said it for about every type of photography, whether it be business or weddings was one. You'll hear so many horror stories about people's wedding photography and things like that, where they hated their photographer and they hated their photos. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter whether it's a headshot, a wedding, a family portrait. If you don't have that emotional, like, connection with that person holding the camera, the things that are coming out the other end are just not going to be,
What you want, what
no,
you hoped for.
no.
And then it's going to add to the stress of the whole
And
situation.
then you're going to have to go and find
And
someone else to do it
yeah,
all again.
yeah, exactly. And then you're going to, feel pretty let down, I think,
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. So many people have been through that and have had that bad experience.
Okay.
And like it makes sense that when you have that initial conversation with the photographer and you're explaining what you're after, to listen out if they get it.
Yeah.
And if there is that rapport there and you're able to build on that relationship, it makes total sense, because
You get out what you put in.
yeah, exactly. And, we're all in business and it has to work both ways. I mean, even with us, as we work with our clients, we want to be working with people that share the same values and are able to get us and we get them, because then that's where the results are going to come.
It's
So
so important.
I can definitely see that playing out in terms of your photography for your brand. Another question that I had was, we get these photos taken and then we use them. How often, though, do you think that a business owner needs to get these photos updated, or what would be indicators to suggest that they would need it to be redone?
Well, I mean, in terms of, say, from a business point of view, if you're doing a rebrand of any kind, an update to the brand, changing your logos or all of the look of your organization, that's absolutely a key indicator for it's time to get an update, because people will notice. If you've got consistent customers, they'll go, oh, so you've upgraded all this stuff, but you've still got the same photos. What's with that? And it might not necessarily affect, how your business does, but people notice, I suppose. So for me, that's a key indicator. Maybe if you have had a significant look change, I mean, it doesn't quite work for me because I change my hair color every 5 seconds. But for things like, if you've gone from long hair to short, or we evolve as humans, we change. And on the other side of things, if you've got something that's excellent and classic, then why change it? If it still speaks to who you are and what you do, then, and I mean, the other thing is you might use a different headshot from recently for one thing and an older one for something else. And it just shows that you've been in business for a little while and you evolved with your business.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't say turf things.
It can show that journey that you've taken as a business owner, which, that makes sense. I like that. And I like that
it shows
we can
longevity.
actually, exactly. And we can showcase that through images, which is fantastic. Something that comes up for me when I'm designing websites for clients is that, we want to have amazing open photographs of the person and showcase who they are so that they can really connect with their audience. But one thing that I'm curious about is, as a photographer, do you think that there is real importance to wearing clothes that are more neutral or solid colors rather than lots of patterns? On my side of things, I feel that there is, and it's important because it just makes your website gives it more longevity.
Absolutely.
And it can go with everything. From a photographer's perspective, would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah. You find that certain patterns that come out in fashion will date an outfit, and therefore the photograph that they're used in.
Yeah.
They're also distracting from
Mm.
the person. So you'll find that people who want to hide a little bit, if you will wear really loud kind of patterned type stuff, because what they're actually trying to do is oh, don't look at me up here. I want you to look anywhere else, basically. And I mean, look, we all have our own insecurities, if you will, but
yeah.
When you're trying to come across in a position of professionalism and trust, you need to be showcasing you, if you will. And distracting things and things that are going to date, and you're going to get, if it's something that dates easily, you're going to get sick of it yourself and have to go and do it again anyway. And then also in terms of usability, you're limiting yourself in usability when it comes to things like certain sections on your website or in your other social media marketing, or even just your headshot on an email, if that's what you use them for. Having it plain and simple increases its usability, if you will. So sometimes you'll find that people will go for, say, a headshot with a white background because they use that on certain brochures and things like that, but then they might have something else that's got a darker background and they use that for something else.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so that does make sense, that it gives you more usability with the photos and then longevity as well,
and
it's
you're
investing. Exactly. You're investing in that, and you don't want to have to go through it all the time. So it makes sense to make the most of that photo shoot. I wanted to just ask you, from the perspective of somebody going out there looking to build that rapport and connect with a photographer, what are 3 things that you do in your process that helps people to connect with you?
I suppose, first of all, obviously, have they seen what I do? So, like, if I was shopping for a photographer to take photographs for me, I would be looking at their work first. And obviously, and it's one of those things that, as a photographer, someone says, oh, can I see your portfolio? It's actually, it's quite confronting, because you're showing them pretty much your heart and soul on whether it be paper or now digital, in a digital method. But you need to know that I need to know that they can see the quality of what I do. So when you're looking for someone, definitely having a look for the type of shots that you want. Some photographers don't do all of the things that you want them to do. Like, some photographers don't do headshots, or they don't do a particular genre that you might look for. Like, they'll do maternity, but they won't do babies. Would be me, so it depends on what sort of where you're sitting, I guess. And then it's that then you start with the conversation. What are we looking for? What's the feel? What are we using them for? Are we, in quantity as well, I suppose, is the thing, in terms of, how many different looks are we looking for? Or are we looking for, just a straight, head and shoulders type look? Or are we moving into in the workplace kind of looking shots, whether that be actually in the business or mocked up, if that makes sense. So it's, and then it's more, and then you start getting into that real deep trust level in terms of, do you gel together when you're conversing, and do you really like the same sort of things? Because if you're saying, I like this, and either the client or the photographer goes, ill, it's a pretty good indicator that maybe that's not where you should be.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a conversation with a girlfriend the other day whose builder she's like, I want to do this and this in my renovation, and the builder says, no, I don't want to put the kitchen there. I want to put it over here. Yeah, I'm like, babe, please.
It's your house, right?
Please use the other guy. It's the same thing. I think we miss those cues and we push forward because we're not confident enough to say, look, this isn't a good fit. And how many times have we done that?
Yeah.
I've been sorry.
Definitely made a very important point there that I think we should definitely just remind the audience that this is your photo shoot. You are paying for it, and therefore you do have the right to voice how you're feeling through the process from the start to the finish. And if you're not feeling comfortable, say so. Or if you want a different pose, say so.
Yeah.
And if that photographer isn't willing to do that or explain why it might not work, then
trust them to the point where they're looking at you and you're not, if that makes sense. I mean, I suppose most of that should be out of the way before they even pick up the camera, I guess. Going back to that planning, the stage, if you will, so that they, that's all. That should be covered at that point. Whereas if you're in the shoot and you're kind of going, why are they posing me like this? Again, that thought will be here, and then you'll end up with, you'll have paid money for photos that you probably don't feel comfortable using, and the photographer won't know why.
Yeah,
because they'll be looking at your website going, where are my pictures? It happens, and then you've got to go and do it again, or you've gone in the backyard, you've picked up your phone, you've done a selfie, and you've thrown that up there, and you hate that for the next 5 years. Seriously, it's a vicious circle.
It is. Yeah, it
Yes.
is for sure. Alice, I wanted to touch on why you're passionate about being a photographer. What does it mean to you?
Ooh, how long have we got? Me, it's that when you know that you've actually gotten that photograph in that session, it doesn't matter what session it is, it's that photograph in every session where you go, I've got it, I've done it, that the subject looks amazing, all of the other elements have come together. It's better than chocolate, honestly. It's that. Yeah, it's all of those things. It's, I love my job moment, if you will. And then when you actually, you pull out that shot at, your reveal session and you get this, and you get the reaction that you're hoping for. It's all of that. It's really that, it's a high. It really is. But at the other end of it, it's to give people the images of themselves that will last forever, generations. It's not just so that these headshots down the track might be the photos that your grandkids pull out and go, look at my grandparent, aren't they amazing? Look at the things that they did and the sort of person they were and how beautiful they were, and all of those things that you would hope your descendants will say about you, could come from a headshot.
That's a very good way of looking at it. I never thought of it from that perspective. But you're right. It is something that is going to be with us forever. And it's something that hopefully people will remember us by and resonate with hundreds and thousands of people, and definitely our family. I think that's always important.
So it's
not just for business. No,
it's just not, I don't, it doesn't matter what business you're in. It's not just the business that those photographs actually will touch. It's, it's because it's not.
No, that's true.
I mean, it's some of the if you go back through your family history and things like that, where people would get a relatively regular, they might only have one picture, but they'd get a portrait done regularly. And I've got a few of those. I've got one on my website with my mum. But those photos have been around my mum would have been 93 this week. So that photo is at least 70 years old.
Wow.
You know, so think of it that way. And this is a whole big, you know, I know that what I do might not necessarily seem at times that important, and it's certainly not life and death. However, there's some pretty special stuff that comes out of it, which is what keeps me coming back. And and it's people and pets. It's not landscapes, because they can't give me that that connection, that expression, that I don't know what it is. I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with a nice landscape, don't get me wrong, but I can't talk to it.
And doesn't give you the Berliner Van chocolate experience.
No. And I mean, you know, we figured out that I'm a talker, so
that you are, but it's always great conversations, so I can't deny that. Alice, before we wrap up, I wanted to just ask you if there was one last piece of advice that you would leave our audience with as they go out and venture into the world of branding for their business and looking out for the perfect photographer.
Stay away from the selfie.
Stay away from the selfie. I love it.
Honestly, I just, you know, selfies have their place and they're fun and everything else, but they have no place. They have no place in phone photography has no place in business or really showing who we are. I mean, I would hate to see more of that out there in the world. And I mean, you know, I've seen a lot of businesses where there is someone in the organization who has an excellent camera and can do an excellent job. And I've actually been that person in other lives. Yeah, go there. Absolutely. You know, if you've got a keen and budding photographer in your office, give them a go. Absolutely. You don't have to go and pay a fortune, but please stay away from the phone.
Stay away from the phone. Okay.
Yeah.
That is the note we're leaving this.
That's it. Oh my goodness, how that's really profound. Not, but it's just
But it makes sense.
Yeah, so, you can be very. It's like shooting fish in a barrel kind of thing, and it's not. I'd like to slow life down and do it a little bit, give it a little bit more thought and care, I suppose.
Yeah. I like that. I like that thought. And okay, audience, so let's just stay away from the phone when it comes to our personal branding. Use that phone for other stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
But not for your personal branding.
Use it for posting those beautiful new photos on social media.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, Alice, thank you so much for being here today. It's been such a pleasure, you know, helping to understand the importance of photography in our business and our branding, but also how to go about choosing the right photographer that's going to help us to build consistency and get our brand out there to the audience that we want. So thank you.
100%. Thank you so much. Great to talk to you.
Thank you for listening today. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I hope you find value from today's episode. And remember, if you've got friends and colleagues looking for inspiration as they grow their business, share this podcast with them. Follow me on Instagram at Holistic Vision Consultancy or check out my website holisticvision.com.au. Until next week, to your success, my friend.